Okay, so people are always asking me, what's your skincare routine? And I always say, like, don't worry about what I do. It's personal. It's going to depend on what you want to do. But everyone always wants to know, so let's go through it. So it's nighttime. I've just got out of the shower. I've got wet hair, so I've just kind of pinned it back. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my oil-based cleanser. Now the one that I use is the Lotus Glow Cleansing Balm. And the reason that I use this one is because my face is dry. I have a very dry skin, so it's not right for everyone, but it is fabulous. And oil-based cleansers can work for almost everyone, even people with oily skin. Now the alternative is, I'm just looking forward to here in my bathroom, if you want an oil-based cleanser, the alternative is the Countertime Lipid Defense Cleansing Oil, which is like the most luxurious cleansing oil ever. And I would personally use that because I love the feel of it. It's so light and luxurious, but my skin just doesn't love it. My skin loves the Lotus Glow, so I stick with that. And it's multifunctional, so it's another reason I love this. Okay. So just to show you that skincare doesn't take all night, we're 1 minute and 15 seconds into this video and I'm going to start my routine now. So I'm just warming the oil in my hands and then I'm rubbing it into my face. And you can see I've got a little bit of a scab here from a pimple that I did exactly what I always say not to do and I picked at. So you're going to see me give it a little extra love tonight. I also have a little bit of a dry patch over this eye. You can always save just a little bit redder over there. So just a little extra attention. If I had makeup on, I would be rubbing this into my eyes a little bit more intensely, but essentially doing the exact same thing. Now I'm gonna rinse my face off. And this is the boring part for you, because I'm just gonna keep adding water to my face to rinse it off. And it's gonna take a couple, well, maybe not a couple of minutes, but you know, more than just 20 seconds. Now the best part about this is that it really does froth up. So even though it's oil-based, you think you're like not getting a really deep clean, you actually really are. So tonight, because my skin is feeling super, super dry and I wasn't wearing any makeup today, I'm not gonna do a double cleanse. Most nights when I'm using makeup, I will do a double cleanse and I'll follow it up with the Countermatch foaming cleanser. That's my preferred one. It doesn't dry me out. It feels super good. It feels like I'm getting a deep clean, but the oil-based one keeps me feeling extra, extra hydrated. Okay, next step for me, I use multiple toners. I'm just at the end of this bottle, so I'm just gonna like spill it out this way. So this is the Countermatch hydra-gel radiance toner, and it says to put on a pad, but I put it in my hand. I don't want to waste little toner pads. It's just a waste, and this way I can spread it a little bit evenly on my face, a little bit more evenly on my face. I've tried to give up this toner and I cannot. Every time I give up this toner, I start to see the pores in this area of my skin just start to like really show up again. So I can't quit it, I stick with it. But the one that my skin loves even more is the essence. This is the Countertime Mineral Boost Hydrating Essence. And again, I'm right at the bottom of my bottle. These bottles, like, it's probably 6 months in. And I give it a lot of shakes. Like I said, I have really dry skin, so my skin absorbs so much. And I just pat it into my skin. And I'm patting it in and pressing it in because, and you might have heard me say this before, if you do this sort of thing, you're going to push most of it to the outside of your face, and pressing it into the skin is not only causing like less tear and pulling on your skin, but it's also pushing it in where the product needs to be. Make sense? Perfect. So every second night I use the Countertime Tripeptide Radiance Serum, and on alternating nights I use the Overnight Resurfacing Peel. Why? Overnight Resurfacing Peel is 15 fruit acids. It's incredibly gentle. It's like a full overnight exfoliation and you wake up just with this beautiful glow, but it's a lot for your skin to use it like every day. So for me, I do it every second night. A lot of people, it's like once a week, maybe twice a week, depends on how your skin tolerates it. But for me, I need this more regularly. I need that like resurfacing of it, and it would really help with like pulling off the dead skin that's left here. But I did do it last night, so tonight I'm going to use my radiance serum. So this radiance serum is fantastic for aging. So again with bakuchiol and Swiss Alpine Rose. This is your natural version of bakuchiol, so it's a less harmful version of bakuchiol. And what it has in there is tripeptides, which basically combat the oxidative radicals that are out there. So when oxidative stress were to come and hit your face, like pollution and UV rays and all the things, it would come and hit your face, it would like pull at your face and it would cause like damage to your face, essentially. This is like really basic way of explaining what's happening, but instead what it does is it would tackle the serum, and this way your serum is protecting your face, and it's also like reversing those aging signs in the meantime. So if you've seen the studies, you look up the studies, they did a study, and bakuchiol compared with retinol gave very similar results. They were like bang on similar results, so that's really, really cool. Then every night, I use my Countertime Ultra Renewal Eye Cream. This guy will last you probably 8 months to a year. Use one of these two fingers, not your index finger, because you're going to use a little less pressure that way. I like to use my middle one because I like to have a little bit more control, whereas my ring finger, I have a little less control over it, so I like to use my middle one. And barely any product on your finger, like there's almost nothing there, and just dab it underneath. That's all that you need. All the Countertime products are going to help with the regeneration of collagen. So basically, it's, for me, I've gotten to a point where I don't really need concealer. Like you can see I've got like a little darkness under my eyes, but really when I put on, even when I even just put on like a tinted moisturizer, you can't see that anymore. So this has really gotten me to the point where I don't need to use concealer, and I used to be just a concealer and mascara girl. The other thing I do with this is I fill in these little lines on my forehead, so you can see they're getting way better. They really are. It's promoting that collagen regrowth in here. So I just kind of fill in those spots. And then I jump onto the Countermatch Sleep Recovery Cream. So even though we have like a Countermatch line and a Countertime line and a Counter Plus line, I bounce all over. I've developed the skincare routine that's perfect for me, and it does take some time. I have all the things, and I bounce back and forth, and everything works just in different ways. So for me, the Sleep Recovery Cream is the go-to night cream for me. The Countertime Tetrapeptide Supreme Cream is super, super thick. It feels super, super luxurious. But again, I think it's just too much for my skin. I do have occasional breakouts, and the only things I can attribute it to are the cleanser and the night cream for me from the Countertime line. So there's just something that's too much. So I use all the other things from that line except those two. So even in the daytime, I'm a soft girl cream for sure. I just skip the cleanser and the nighttime moisturizer. So I do 2 pumps of the Sleep Recovery Cream and rub it into my face. I try and avoid under my eyes because I've just put my eye cream there, but I do go ahead and like rub it in up here. I try and give it a minute or so to get all of the eye cream digging in there. And you'd think that that was the last step, but for me, I'm super dry. So I move on to my facial oils. Now you're gonna think I'm crazy because I use 3 facial oils. As you can see, I've had a little bit of a breakout. When I'm combating breakouts, I go to the number 3 balancing oil. And I just take a couple drops of that. So I'll just do like 2, maybe 3. And I use this in my mouth area. So that's where I get pimples. That's where the acne is. Okay, then I take my number 2, which is the plumping oil, and I use that in my forehead area. So I'm gonna use a few more drops. And that again is to combat these fine lines that I've got coming in here. It's like bright light on me. It's like a little bit more overexposed. You can't see it as bad as it does when I put makeup on. And then the last thing I do is my number 1 brightening oil. I use it on the rest of my face. So people always say, why do you use facial oils last? Like, don't you use those before your night creams? You can do it either way. You figure out what works best for you. But Countermatch is incredibly absorbable. Anyways, it gets really deep into your skin. It penetrates really, really well. If you look through like an electron microscope after someone's applied Countermatch, sorry, you can't tell the difference between what your skin looks like. So it has like actually penetrated right in there. Whereas most night creams and that sort of thing, when you look under an electron microscope, you're gonna see the skin, but then you're going to see these big blobs of cream that are just sitting there. It's basically like oil just sitting on top of your skin. So you wake up and you're still super dry and you're like, why am I so dry? It's because it didn't penetrate very well. So the active ingredients in here that are doing all this amazing work and mimicking our skin so well are squalene, and that is actually derived from olives. Some other companies use shark to get their squalene, so I am so proud that we don't hurt animals for ingredients like this when we can get it successfully from olives. And that's my nighttime routine. I'll take off this ridiculous thing and I'll go blow dry my hair, but that's about it. And the only difference I would do on every other night is I would use the overnight resurfacing peel in place of the tripeptide radiance serum. Hope that's helpful. I'll go back and do daytime in the near future, but just so you all know, that's what I do. Thanks for joining.